to cascade also to the all the counties in the country, and of course 100 billion shillings for the second phase of the Konza Technopolis, which is going to boost the Open University, and is looking forward to ensure that also visa fees are scrapped for anyone who wants to visit the country. We'll have a more detailed report. My colleague Wairimu Njenga has been keeping tabs with what has been happening there since morning, and she'll be back a little bit later with a comprehensive report on that presidential event. Yeah, indeed, we are now going for our news, and just in case you joined us, welcome. My name is Njue. This is what my colleagues and I have been lining up for you at this hour. We begin on education matter, where the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teacher Secretary General Akelo Misori has faulted the competency-based curriculum task force report, saying it failed to conclusively point out key challenges affecting the system. Misori said the report also lacked comprehensive strategies necessary for fixing the glaring gaps in the system. The KUPPET Secretary General, however, hailed the move by the Professor Raphael Munavu-led task force to reduce the number of subjects, saying there were already existing challenges to teachers. He called on the task force to consider addressing key areas such as infrastructure for junior secondary schools.
Basically, how competency-based curriculum was supposed to be implemented. They did not, in any way, to a large extent, come up with plausible recommendations regarding infrastructure in the junior secondary and junior school and primary. They only talked about the number of teachers, and even at that, the number of teachers was arbitrary. They did not say that this is the number of teachers we expect to be in the junior school, upper primary and lower primary. So there is still very gray area in terms of the implementation schedule.
From Education Matters, Kericho Governor Dr. Eric Mutai has formed a 6-member team to look into allegations that the 14.5 million shillings recently raised in aid of victims of the Londiani road accident was misappropriated by the committee that was formed to manage it. Governor Mutai warned that if it is determined that the money was illegally spent, the officers involved will be sacked and legal action taken against them. The June 30th accident claimed 54 lives, with 24 others admitted with several injuries.
And for us to have a fair hearing to everybody as to whether this money was lost or not, I am taking then an immediate action today by forming an audit list. I thank the Assembly. The Assembly have already created an ad hoc committee. For me as the governor, I also want, and today I'm forming a committee so that after the closure of the committee work, which I've given them a deadline of Wednesday next week, they come into action and do a thorough audit and review and give us a report on how this money was paid, if all the victims have received the money, and if all that were meant for the funds were used appropriately. I also want to identify any individual or groups who might have been overlooked in the support process. The team is open to receiving input from any aggrieved members of the public who wish to submit their petitions directly.
Stakeholders in Kisumu County have welcomed the recommendation to have the number of learning areas in the new competency-based curriculum revised from 14 to 9. The stakeholders, including teachers and school directors, argue that the move will not only ease the burden among learners, but it also cost-effective. They, however, want the government to devise a precise framework for enhanced parent sensitization on the needs of the new curriculum. Wycliffe Okech brings us that report.
Among the many recommendations by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms is the revision of the number of learning areas under the new CBC curriculum from 14 to 9. Stakeholders in the Lakeside Kisumu County have welcomed the move, saying it will not only free parents from financial burden, but it will also make learning more manageable for the learners.
CBC, as it was given out, the number of subjects are so many, and it's giving a lot of headache to the learners and even to the teachers.
For instance, you will find that learners of grade 4 or say grade 6, they used to carry so many books to school, but now because the subjects have been reduced or the learning areas have been reduced, it will even make life easier for them in terms of what books to carry to school.
It's a win-win situation for everybody. The child has more, lesser commitment, different assignments. The school has also reduced on the number of teachers required to teach these subjects, and the parents the same way.
The stakeholders, among them head teachers and schools directors, however, want the government to devise a precise mechanism geared towards sensitizing parents on the needs of the new curriculum to boost adaptation.
We call it Parental Empowerment and Engagement, PEE. So parents can be sensitized through the schools where their children study. They're invited in school, they're taken through the new reforms so that they'll be able to understand and know at what extent are they allowed or are they expected to take part in their children's education.
They further welcomed the recommendation to have environmental conservation and climate action institutionalized.
Climate change is a big menace to the country, and not only to the country but even the whole world all over. It is known temperatures are rising at a very alarming rate. The water bodies are going down, and so when the learners learn from the lower levels, as they grow up, they understand what they need to do in terms of conserving the environment.
Though it has been there, but not supported by the curriculum. So if it is infused, then I know it can address the issues, because we have a lot of environmental issues in the school. What
a better thing for young people to be told these things early in life, so that as they grow up, they understand the need of conserving the environment. Because when we destroy the environment, we are destroying the future generation.
Parents were further challenged to play an active role in the education of their children for the success of the CBC rollout. For Lunchtime News, I am Wycliffe Okech.
In other news, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration is in the process of making amendments to the Computer Cyber Crimes Act of 2018 in order to curb issues of scams, identity theft, hacking, and internet fraud. Principal Secretary Interior Dr. Raymond Omolo revealed that the said act has to conform to the emerging threats in the digital space.
Addressing the press after meeting with the task force mandated to give proposals on computer and misuse and cybercrimes regulations, the PS said the government will be keen on employing a much more coordinated approach in dealing with cybercrimes and sharing of data.
Definitely there are gaps, and part of that is as a result of the element of time. The Act was set up in 2018, and between 2018 and today there's been a lot that has happened within the space, because it's a fast-changing environment.
The task force, which comprises of 2 co-chairs, among other members from government agencies with expertise in cyberspace, ICT and digitization, has already come up with draft regulations which will be subjected to a rigorous public participation exercise.
These draft regulations need to be taken through public participation and subsequently to Parliament for their passage, and then we are able to start implementing those regulations.
Interior Principal Secretary Dr. Raymond Omolo said advancements in digital technologies have led to the rise of new risks that expose government and Kenyans to threats such as subversion, cyber terrorism, and cyber fraud cases. He noted if amendments to the Act is approved by Parliament, it will protect Kenyans, the government, and even businesses from such threats. The Computer and Misuse and Cybercrimes regulations seek to address protection measures for critical information and public infrastructure, which include telecoms, banking, and transport. Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Lunchtime News.
Let's now shift gears to matters politics, where Kenya Kwanza leaders from Embu County now want the Kenya Kwanza team selected for the bipartisan talks to only delve on matters outlined by the party. They cited constituting the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC), entrenching the office of the official opposition leader in the constitution, among others. Elsewhere, KBC County clergy have backed the impending talks between President William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga to resolve the socio-economic and political issues affecting the country.
Leaders allied to the Kenya Kwanza ruling coalition in Embu County have urged Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire and the larger Kenya Kwanza bipartisan team to stick to the 5 issues agreed by the coalition on the impending talks with the opposition team. They said priority should be given to the reconstitution of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, cementing office of the official leader of opposition and the position of Prime Cabinet Secretary in the constitution.
Kama ni mambo ya kuongea, tuongee maneno ya two-girl gender rule, ili akina mama, women of Kenya, they be accommodated in all levels of leadership.
Speaking during the commissioning of Andu, Akiome Athdam in Mbeere North, Area MP Geoffrey Ruku said the Kenya Kwanza bipartisan team that includes UDA chairperson Cecily Mbarire is up to the task.
Hii watu ya Azimio uwaambie, there will be no power sharing, there will be no post-election arrangement.
Elsewhere, religious leaders in KBC County termed the talks as timely in cooling the political temperatures in the country.
Katika mpango wa rais, na amesema na tunakubali kwa sababu kila serikali inapochaguliwa wako na mpango madhubuti jinsi ya kushughulikia hali ya maisha kurudi chini. Lakini pia ni vema wasikize kilio cha Wakenya kwa muda huu.
The leaders, however, condemned grandstanding in the talks to ensure success. Giverson Maina for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, a Nakuru-based non-governmental organization, Midrift Human Rights Network, has launched a project aimed at de-escalating the crime rate in Nakuru East and Nakuru West sub-counties. The 4-month project that runs from August to November 2023 targets mostly youths, but will also involve women, national government administration officers, county government, community policing committees, and security agencies under the Ministry of Interior. Catherine Wanderi from Midrift Human Rights Network, who is spearheading the project, says the main objective is to contribute to building safe, secure, and peaceful communities by creating a pool of youthful peace and security champions. Three cases of recruitment fraud are being investigated by authorities in Migori County after locals were duped to part with money for non-existent job opportunities. Migori County Service Board Chairperson Engineer David Ochola warned locals of a cartel in the area minting money in the guise of offering job opportunities. Ochola urged locals to report to the board anybody approaching them for money in exchange for any job openings.
Jobs application within Migori County shall be advertised, and when those jobs are advertised, anybody is qualified to apply, and nobody, and I want to say nobody from the board will ask you for a coin.
We are letting the public know that nobody else, of course somebody is taking money, but we're also saying nobody within this board, even the secretariat, nobody should purport to actually want to support us to help the public get jobs through us.
The moment, as my colleagues have said, we are not doing any recruitment. And once the vacancies arise, we'll do advertisement in 2 local dailies of national circulation, and those who are qualified will apply, and we do shortlist and we call them for interview and eventually offer them employment.
Elsewhere, residents of Kitengela in Kajiado now want the county government to intervene over water shortage and exorbitant prices by water vendors. The residents say water vendors are minting millions of shillings in a business that has turned to be lucrative with dozens of private water kiosks. The government had started water supply project in the populous town a few years ago by establishing several water kiosks. Locals say for the water kiosks have since been closed. According to the Ministry of Water survey, Kitengela town, with a population of 500,000 people, requires 30,000 cubic meters of water daily.
Maji hapa tuna muda mrefu hatujachota, na hapa tumekaa karibu miaka 2 sasa tangu maji katike. Mimi nimekuwa mkazi hapa, na mimi ndio hata nilikuwa nashirikiana na wao hapa kuwasaidia kama maji kuwafungia usiku, kwa sababu mara nyingine walikuwa wanaondoka usiku wanaenda, ikijaa imwagike na wafungia. Kwa hivyo sasa ni muda mrefu tangu hata mimi nilikuwa nafikiria kana kwamba maji imekatika kabisa.
Wenye wanauza maji wanapiga biashara kwa maisha yetu. Juu maji si ati iko Kitengela tunaletewa. Na ni maji ya chumvi. Unanunua 20 bob, fresh unanunua 30 bob, na vile maisha sasa imekuwa ngumu.
From Kitengela to Githurai, where traders at the Githurai market in Kiambu County have opposed plans by the county government to collect their data afresh for purposes of allocation of stalls at the new market block. They imputed a sinister move on the part of the county government in repeating the exercise, which they said had been done a while ago.
Perry Sombui, one of the Githurai traders, said that the county government was collecting new data of traders for stall allocation instead of using the old data they had given out the previous year.
Kama ni data ya Githurai inaendelea, kwanza kuna soko tumejengewa pale. Watu waingie pale kwanza, tufanye allocation kwanza, mambo ya soko kupeana ama mambo ya kufanya ya kuja kuchukua majina hiyo ikuje baadaye.
The traders who engaged in demonstrations at the newly completed market block vowed to paralyze any activities in the marketplace if denied a chance to operate. Their secretary urged them not to give their data to any person. They further demanded that any visit by a national government or high-ranking leader to Githurai market must observe all protocols put in place.
Hii data inakuja kuchukuliwa saa hii, ndio tunashindwa ni ya nini. Alafu kuna kuanga na mpango mzuri. Kama ni data, lazima machairman wa soko saba za Githurai lazima wangekuwa wamehusishwa.
Shamba na gazeti tumenchilifanywa wakati wa Kibaki, tukaenda wakati wa Kabongo akiwa governor, Waitito wakakuja, tumefuatilia hii process miaka mingi. Sasa sisi ndio tuko na data yenye tuliwapea watu kwanza wagazetiwe kwa ile building imejengwa.
Hii nawatangazia wanabiashara wetu ya kwamba hii maneno ya kusanya data imekuwa utatanishi. Kwa hivyo kukija mtu mgeni umuelewi akikuitisha information yako ya data, kitambulisho, majina, usidhubutu kupeana.
This follows a plan to mark off the 1,200 available stalls by a section of the traders that has now been impeded. Brian Onsom, reporting for Lunchtime News.
Power you!
Let's now delve into the world of business. Diamond Trust Bank CEO Nasim Devji projects that the economy will expand between 5% and 5.5% this year, driven by tourism recovery, rebounding agriculture, and reduced inflationary pressures. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njue is calling on the private sector to tap business opportunities by creating solutions for challenges faced by the tea and coffee value chains as well as other sectors of the economy.
While the economy shows signs of vibrancy, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary says the government will channel investments into high-productive sectors such as agriculture, affordable housing and MSMEs.
We should not see our coffee sector collapse, our sugar sector collapse. We have tried to revive the cotton industry, we haven't managed. Pyrethrum is struggling. All these are they are not low-hanging fruits, by the way. They are fruits on the ground, isn't it? So when we talk about that, that's why I'm saying this is an agenda. It's for all of us to take up responsibility and fix the problem.
Njue says the government is keen on economic turnaround and inclusive growth. He encouraged investors to actively partner with the government in pursuit of better and sustainable livelihoods through the use of private finance instruments such as green bonds and fiscal incentives to support sustainable development in the renewable sector. They spoke during the DTB Economic and Sustainability Forum, which projected the economy to expand by between 5% to 5.5% this year.
The economy is expected to grow between 5% and 5.5% in 2023. A decent shot above the global average of around 3%.
Trevor Njue for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, CIC Group has joined the United Nations Global Compact with a view of adopting ethical and responsible business practices in its day-to-day operations. CIC Group has committed to prioritize and safeguard human rights, labor standards, environmental protection, and anti-corruption efforts in its business practices.
The United Nations Global Compact is the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative that brings together companies, organizations, and governments to address pressing global challenges while working towards a more sustainable and inclusive future. By joining this network, CIC Group has committed to actively contribute to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. To this end, the group says it is working to ensure that its activities are aligned towards sustainability.
By signing the Nairobi initiative, we are sort of giving our commitment to being able to look at almost similar issues around how we do our business from an environmental perspective, a socially responsible corporate citizen, and also governance-wise.
The group has committed to work towards sustainability compliance across its operations by reducing the company's carbon footprint and promoting energy efficiency, among other solutions aimed at driving positive business and social outcomes.
The commitment that CIC Insurance Group has made today is critical, and especially in this decade of action as we work to mobilize the global business community to accelerate action and impact to deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030.
The group will be required to submit an annual communication on progress report, demonstrating to its stakeholders its progress in working towards the 10 principles of the UN Global Compact.
We are very keen to then partner with the UN Global Compact so that we can start implementing some of the key issues that we need to implement at the ESG, and the UN Global Compact will hold our hands.
Njue Kami for Lunchtime News.
Kenyans have been urged to confirm, the status of surveyors with the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya before engaging them to avoid scenarios of involving quacks. Institution of Surveyors of Kenya President Abraham Samoei has raised concerns being infiltration of the profession by quacks. Samoei called for increased budgetary allocation for digitizing land records.
Through ISK, we have a registrar of professionals. So before you engage anyone, you confirm with the institution that this member is in good standing, is a registered professional. I can assure you, if you do that due diligence on anybody giving you a proposal, you eliminate chances of that malpractice. Na tunaomba kwamba serikali ipe wizara, najua inaweza kuwa imepea fedha ambayo inaweza roll out the digital program kila mahali. Vile tunajenga barabara, tunajenga mahospitali, vile tunafanya hizi kazi zote kama taifa, mambo ya ardhi pia ishughulikiwe, vile hizo zingine zitashughulikiwa. kuna ugomvi mingi kwa ardhi kwa sababu ya vile records zimewekwa. Ukiwa na records zimewekwa sawa sawa, mambo ya ulaghai, mambo ya ugomvi itaisha.
Kilichoko katika idara au tasnia hii ya usorovea, ukienda katika vyuo vikuu, jinsi tunavyowafundisha wanafunzi ni kama jinsi ilivyo miaka 20. Nilipokuwa miaka 20 na 30 nilipokuwa chuoni, na sasa vitu vimebadilika. Kwa hivyo ni jukumu la serikali kuhakikisha kwamba wametoa fedha za kukidhi vyuo hivi vikuu ili tusipite na wakati.
Further afield, one of the world's largest urban solar project has been inaugurated in Mexico City, where the rooftops of the capital's wholesale markets are now generating power for the city. The solar system has been installed on Mexico City's Centro de Abastos, a wholesale market covering 327 hectares. And the details of this and other stories making headlines from other parts of the world.
Rooftops on wholesale market in Mexico City are now outfitted with thousands of solar panels, which are supplying more than a third of this market's total energy consumption and will do so all year round. Government officials say the mega project marked the start of a solar power revolution in the country. Market visitors were impressed with the green initiative to turn the market rooftops into one of the world's biggest urban solar farms. Officials say part of the government's plan behind this mega project is to convince the Mexican society of the benefits of solar power. Elsewhere, the average retail gasoline price in Japan has climbed to its highest level in 15 years as the government subsidy to curb price hikes has been gradually scaling down. The average price of regular gasoline stood at 176.7 yen per litre as of Monday, advancing 1.9 yen from July 24th and hitting its highest level since August 2008. The price is expected to increase and affect households if the government holds this subsidy program designed to curb the impact of a surge in gasoline and other fuel prices at the end of September as planned. Gasoline prices are projected to continue rising. Finally, climate change and alarmingly frequent extreme weather events are posing threats to Italy's historic viticulture and winemaking industries. Last month, which was probably the hottest month on record according to the World Meteorological Organization, Italy experienced heat waves, wildfires, torrential rain, tornadoes and hail. The extreme weather has sparked concerns for local grape planting and wine-producing industry practitioners. Experts say that although grapes are resilient and able to adapt to various climatic conditions, they can still suffer from high temperature and lack of water. When temperatures exceed 35 degrees Celsius, the nutritional activity in the fruit is blocked, and in extreme cases, the plants may suffer permanent damage.
Now shift gears to matters sports. The 9th leg of the KCB East Africa Golf Tour will be held at the Par 73 Nakuru Golf Course this weekend. The weekend's tourney has attracted over 200 golfers who will converge at the Nakuru-based facility, where 2 teams are expected to qualify for the tour's grand finale, set for November at the current county club. So far, 8 teams have booked a slot in the final, with the latest entries coming from the 8th leg of the series that was held at the Njue club last month. KCB Group CEO Paul Russo said they target to bring on board budding junior and lady golfers who have developed an interest in the sport. The tourney has seen over 1,000 participants taking part across various counties. And some good news for Kenya. The World Athletics has confirmed the Kenya's men 4x400 meters and 4x100 mixed. I'll take that again. The World Athletics has confirmed the Kenya's men 4x400 meters and the 4x400 meters mixed relay teams will take part in the 2023 World Athletics Championships set for this month in Budapest, Hungary. The 2 Kenyan teams have qualified for the biennial event by virtue of their 16th place ranking on the World Athletics rankings.
The mixed relay team comprising Commonwealth Games 800 meters champion Mary Mora, Wycliffe Kimanyang, Boniface Meresa and Naomi Korir boast of 3 minutes 14.61 seconds, a time set during the National Athletics Championships in June. The quadrant was recently disqualified from their race in Germany after breaching a technical rule that prohibits runners from beginning a race outside the takeover zones. The 4x400 meters team posted a time of 3 minutes, 2.2 seconds, courtesy of Kenya Police, winning time at the National Championships in June. The team is led by African and Commonwealth champion Ferdinando Manyala, Boniface Meresa, Dan Kiviasi and Hesbon Oching. The team is currently camping at Kasarani Stadium ahead of the World Championships. For Lunchtime News, I'm Sila Onyango.
Some good news for the Kenyan team. Wish them all the best. Finally, Inter Miami are through to the round of 16 of the MLS Leagues Cup after a 3-1 win over Orlando City. Lionel Messi scored a brace for Inter Miami, giving them a 5-goal tally in 3 matches for the Herons.
To Busquets. Lionel Messi opened the scoring for Inter Miami in the 7th minute after converting Robert Taylor's pass. Cesar Araujo equalized for Orlando City in the 17th minute. Joseph Martinez's penalty kick in the 50th minute put Miami on top once again before Messi sealed the win in the 72nd minute with a right-footed volley from Joseph Martinez's pass.
The penalty to his new teammate Joseph Martinez, and Inter Miami has retaken the lead.
The final of the MLS Leagues Cup is scheduled for August 19th.
The ability to lift the ball to the back post, and Joseph Martinez throughout his...
Lionel Messi is on fire. 5 goals in 3 matches in a new league. That's how good he is. And on that Messi note, we are concluding our news. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Bentro Njue. Lensa Odingo has been our sign language interpreter for these live newscasts. Just a quick one. We are following up on these stories plus much more. And of course, you can keep tabs on what we are doing on all our social media platforms. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one.